I'm Brad Leinhardt, one of the co-founders of Entradot. My partner Bill Warner's over here on the corner. You see us here typically on Wednesday mornings. Anyway, we're always excited when we have someone to present who's one of the people that we're working with from a mentoring standpoint or a coaching standpoint. So this morning it's Sam Castillo from Fayetteville. And Sam is recently retired 20-year special ops, so he's got a distinguished career in the Army and a lot of time around Fort Bragg. In November, December last year, he founded this company called The Rock Guns and Accessories, and he'll explain the background of it and his passion for it and why that name has come about. He actually opened the business in April of 2018, so this is a very new company. But the neat thing about it already is that it's running at capacity and in a fairly small space, so he's looking for a larger space. He'll tell you all about his capabilities to manufacture guns as well as his quality intentions in selling guns, etc. But Sam has already begun what I think is really neat about veteran-owned and operated businesses. They hire more veterans, and so he's got 8 or 10, 12 people on the payroll now, and the majority of them, I think, possibly with the exception of one who's a veteran family member, are all veterans. So that really makes the point that veterans do hire veterans. And he'll hire a lot more veterans as he builds this business up. So I'm going to turn it over to Sam and let him tell you about his business. It's a very exciting business. You'll see some numbers that show how fast he's growing and how successful I think this business opportunity is going to be. And I'm proud to be a little bit of a helper to him.
All right, so yeah, I got the introduction. So here's the question. Fayetteville, North Carolina has about 20 established gun stores, facilities that sell firearms. So what we decided to do is last year I was having a conversation with a good friend of mine from the Army, and we were kind of talking about what we can do better in the community in regards to firearm sales and services offered. So I started doing the research and just saw more and more opportunities and thought we could do well and capitalize on these. So I'll tell you more of that story here in a minute. But the point here is what makes us different. Number one, we're not a pawn shop that sells guns. We're not anything beyond a gun retailer, and we focus on custom guns. So we can build anything from a rifle, pistol, shotgun from the ground up, in-house. So every service we offer is done in-house. We're not outsourcing to other people, other organizations. So what that does is it cuts down on turnaround time. And also, one of the things we pride ourselves on is if you bring us a firearm, a knife, something to get work done, you could come in any time and we'll show you where we are in the process and keep you updated so you have that direct line of communication. We're not waiting a month hoping for the best when it gets back. And also, we partnered with Fayetteville Tech down there. They have a gunsmith program. It's a 2 years associate program. We hire directly from that program their graduates. So we have actual certified gunsmiths on staff doing the work for you, and with all the required equipment. So real quick, the Rock Guns came about, the name, from my grandfather. So he was a World War II veteran. He was a paratrooper back in World War II, and he did 2 combat jumps in the Pacific Theater. The second one was onto the island of Corregidor in the Philippines. They had to reclaim that island before the follow-on forces could reclaim the Philippines from the Japanese. And they nicknamed that 2 square kilometer island the Rock, based on that operation. That's how the unit got its nickname. My grandfather was an engineer who jumped that day on that operation. Day 3 on the ground, he was blinded by a Japanese sniper and it was sent home. And with that being said, First thing he did when he got back to Los Angeles, California, was started a business. He started a hardware store in East Los Angeles and became a fixture in the community. So with that led to another business that he started, a restaurant. And then he got into opening cafeterias. And after 20 years post-injury, post-military, he was a millionaire with several businesses between California and Texas. And I associate that with, he was given adversity was presented in front of him. He saw that as a challenge and overcame that challenge. And that's how we see ourselves in the market in Fayetteville. Yeah, there's other retailers there, but we're up to the challenge. We can do it better. And so the name The Rock comes from his organization to pay tribute not only to my grandfather, but to all veterans, all paratroopers from World War II. We're located in Fayetteville, about a mile away from Fort Bragg, which is the home of the Airborne. And one of my favorite things about this is the 503rd unit nicknamed The Rock is still active in the Army. So we get customers come in and say, that was my unit. I was just overseas serving with that organization. So we generate that continued conversation into the history of the military serving our country, and again, making that positive impact in the world. So that's the history of the name, why that name's important to me. Okay, myself, I'm the founder and owner, and I did 20 years in the U.S. Army. Majority of that time was in Army Special Forces, and I retired in June last year. As I was getting ready to retire, I was looking at what opportunities were out there. Going to work for somebody, start my own business, and once again, based on a conversation with my friend Mike, another Special Forces guy, I started looking into these opportunities, and the more I looked, the more these doors started to open. So I said, you know what, let me try to get my FFL so I could sell firearms. Wow, that was easy. So then things start falling into place. And from November last year, when we got incorporated to now, things have moved 3 times faster than I anticipated. So it's been really exciting to be part of this organization. We acquired the building that we currently work out of in January, and we did our grand opening in April. And there's me playing the national anthem on the roof of the building as part of the ceremony. It was a lot of fun. And we had a really good turnout. Here's our introduction to the community. So here's how it works. Our target market is the firearms aficionado. That's the term we use. And with that being said, we are next to Fort Bragg, which is the biggest military installation in the world. And it's also qualifies population-wise as the 4th largest city in North Carolina. So we have a large population of people familiar with firearms, and our mandate is to serve them to the highest capacity and not just try to pull money out of that resource. We want to serve that community as well as Fayetteville, North Carolina as a whole. So we hire veterans, people with experience in firearms, the point being expert staff for expert customers. We know what we're talking about, so we're not there to talk down, we're there to talk with you to make sure you get exactly what you want going out the door. Because one of the things I found lacking in Fayetteville at the time with the other organizations selling firearms was the customer service. And our goal is to have you come in, talk with us, get exactly what you wanted going out the door, and not only does that lead to repeat customers, which we have already quite a few, but again, it's just to serve the community, not just, again, pull money. So before I keep repeating myself on that, we're really proud of what we've established up to this point, and we've had a lot of positive things coming our way. As far as revenue, how we generate that, we sell firearms. Our focus here is high-end firearms. So things, weapons that I've used, that I know work, that we have experience with, that we know are reliable. We're not there to sell you a cheap, knockoff gun that's gonna fall apart in a month. We want you to walk away with something you'll have the rest of your life, that you could bet your life on, because we have in the past from our experience overseas. And we also do custom builds. As I said, we have a gunsmith in-house who's not only able to do repairs, but we can build like this rifle here, that was raw components before, we can go down to this level to meet any requirement you want. So one of the things we deal with is, are you going to use this for hunting this fall? Are you a competitive shooter and you want to go out and compete? We can talk with you, make sure the build meets those requirements, and you walk out of the door with exactly what you wanted. Here's a picture of part of our gunsmithing shop. We have the lathe, the mill, all the machinery to do the work, not only to do repairs, but to build. So we have our manufacturer's license. So we're working on our custom line of guns generated by us to cater certain needs that are out there, whether it's, again, competitive shooting or hunting. We can do it all. Sarin coating is a ceramic coating. It's a protective layer, but it's a really unique way to customize your firearms. We're the only certified applicator in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And we're really excited to offer this service because one of our themes in the store is make it your own. You dream it, we can build it for you. We also do laser engraving. Now, with this, we not only do pistols, but we can do your metal cups. We can do plastics. For example, here's my phone case. We laser engrave my cell phone case. And I have examples up here of other work we've done with the laser. So if you bring us any image, we can laser engrave that for you. With that being said, here's an example of a gentleman who brought in his father's service pistol from World War II. We were able to do the laser engraving and customize that pistol. So now this gentleman carries this every day on him to honor his father's memory. So we're really proud of these kind of projects we can do with people. Make it an individual, unique experience, not just get in, get out like a big chain store would do. In regards to not only custom firearms, but we sell all the accessories necessary to meet that specific need. A unique way to carry it, certain ammunition that meets your requirements, whether you're hunting or sport shooting, and we offer it all. We have a custom holster building in-house, so any firearm, knife, cell phone, clicker for this, we can build a holster for that, unique to that. So we're really proud of that because a lot of guys buy aftermarket stuff and it's hard to find a holster for that. We can manufacture one of those within a couple days. Really quick turnaround because it's all done, like I said, in-house. And we also have our National Firearms Act license to sell and manufacture. And what that qualifies, now we're talking our suppressors, our short-barreled rifles. There's extra paperwork, background investigations required for that. We streamline that process for you to help that fast turnaround to get what you need. So once again, you dream it, we can build it. As far as marketing is concerned, we've been open for about 4.5 months now. So we're starting to, here's some of the things we've done. We're ads on the local rock station, and we put ads in a local magazine that's distributed to about 500 different locations throughout Fayetteville and surrounding areas. We also do go to gun shows, tattoo conventions. We get really positive feedback there, and go to competitive shooting events. And also, we do fundraisers. We work with other organizations such as the Green Beret Foundation to raise money to support families and soldiers on Fort Bragg. And as far as social media, we have a website, Facebook and Instagram page. So we have followers on Instagram from around the world. That, again, with that following growing every day. So we've had pretty positive feedback and results using Instagram. And being as we've been open for the period of time we have, 4.5 months, we're kind of analyzing the feedback on all these avenues we're taking to find out the most effective means to reach out to our target audience and just increase that awareness of who we are. As far as the long term, we built this company to provide a unique service to Fayetteville, North Carolina. We think this can reach a national scale. But with that being said, it's important for us to be consistent in our message, why we're different and why that's important. So that's what we're working with you know, and part of me talking to you guys is suggestions, maybe ideas for increasing that awareness, that footprint, so people are aware of us. We still get people walking in saying, I didn't know you guys were here. This is awesome. So my goal is once I get you through the door, you're going to come back. So that's the intent there. And again, expansion of our capabilities. We started in this current location in Fayetteville, and we're already short on space based on the demand we've had from customers seeking our services. We're already looking at where we're going to move next to increase our capabilities, get more machines, more staff, and again, this has grown a lot more rapidly than we anticipated, which has been great because we realize we're answering a need that was out there in that community, and we want to make sure we maintain that standard. So we're looking at, another thing we're looking at is establishing indoor shooting range in Fayetteville, North Carolina. There's already one there, but I don't want to say it as we can do better, but the point being is our goal is not only to offer these services and generate revenue for Fayetteville, North Carolina, but we want to be part of the growth of Fayetteville, North Carolina. We're here for the community and to serve that big picture, not just pull money out of soldiers' pockets and Fayetteville residents' pockets, if that makes sense. All right, so this is a graph of our, when I was doing the business plan, our projected sales. I was looking at the slow, steady growth. That first one represents February, and each one is, consecutive months. And this was kind of our, being conservative, let's be realistic about how things are looking. And this is what our actual sales have been in the 4.5 months we've been open. Things have just really taken off. And again, we're super excited about that, only because we realized there was a need that we're now meeting. How can we continue to support that? As far as the challenges concerned with our organization, this whole thing was bootstrapped. This was started with money I saved, family, and we didn't seek any bank loans, any investors. So everything we created came from our own pocket. Like I said, the positive thing is we've been growing faster than I anticipated, so now the challenge is to keep up with that demand based on the budget that we've established with what we currently have. So in regards to seeking funding, that's another question I'm kind of putting out to you guys. Ideas, maybe avenues to increase our capability to not only provide that increased inventory, but to work toward our manufacturing goals, because we have several products that we're currently researching, developing to introduce to the market in regards to competitive shooting and some military applications as well. We have a very knowledgeable staff with some great ideas based on our experience to, again, improve performance in certain areas in the firearms industry. So we're looking at that future growth and how to support that. And also, in regards to this range that I mentioned, this is an opportunity to not only provide a place for people to shoot recreationally, but to provide classes, community outreach. Again, my mandate isn't just shooting, it's awareness. As a gun store owner, I have a responsibility to make sure that the community understands the importance, the responsibility, the reality of owning firearms, and reinforcing the safety awareness. So not only are we looking at working with other groups like Gunpowder Gals, it's an all-women shooting group that we support, do classes in our facility currently. If we expand into a bigger facility, we can actually run bigger courses and also bring in younger people, do presentations, classes there, teach safety. And I've been in discussions with another individual down there to actually go to certain communities to do presentations about gun safety. And we have products all the way down to the preschool level to teach young people. These are a real thing, they're dangerous. It's important that we continue to promote that message. And again, because of the reality of firearms today in the United States. So me talking probably really rapidly, but trying to cover all these points as quickly and effectively as possible. I want to thank you for letting me do that presentation. Here's some more examples of the custom guns that we've built, again, from the ground up. And here's where I'd like to answer any questions and hopefully generate a discussion.
Great job, Sam. All right, who's got some questions? Start here with one of our own.
I have 2 questions on this. Are you able to sell any of this online? Is that legal? Like, do you have any products that go online?
Absolutely. So we do sell on what's known as gunbroker.com. We have certain things there, and we're just about to open our online store as well. We can sell nationally anything we create. The key there is it has to go from an FFL, a federal firearms license holder, to another federal firearms license holder. So if you were in Oregon and you bought a rifle from us, we could send it to Oregon, but it needs to go to a gun store so you can do the paperwork, the FBI background checks, and everything before you can actually take that rifle home, own it. And North Carolina has extra rules for handguns. So, it's about a month-long process to do the background checks and everything to own a pistol in North Carolina.
That's awesome. And then I was wondering, you have a lot of different products, it sounds like. Have you noticed one, excuse me, that one that's particularly popular or one that's particularly profitable? Like, is there to that?
Absolutely. So the 2 big ones are the gunsmith, because again, there's a lot of people who say they're gunsmiths, but they're not. Number one, they haven't gone to the associate's 2-year course to learn how to do it properly. They've been an armor in the Army. They worked on guns as a hobby. But we have, again, that credentialed licensed guy, and we also have the equipment in-house to use it. So we have everything required to do that work. And people have noticed that, and we have other stores sending people to us because we're the only ones locally who can meet certain capabilities, threading barrels, doing some of the advanced work in-house. And so what was the other part of that question? The laser. We have a laser engraver that, and again, I have examples. I want to invite you up here to see some more examples of what we can do, but that's been a really kind of a big hit in regards to we can do custom Yeti cups, and it doesn't have to be guns, right? We can do anything. So those are the 2 main things that we plan for, but the gunsmithing especially has really taken off. We have a pretty busy gunsmith who, we have 2 others who support him, and we're already looking at getting a 4th to support the demand of what we have coming our way. We have people driving over an hour just to come see our gunsmith because of our capabilities. So that's been really exciting.
Awesome.
Is that the most profitable too, the engraving and the custom stuff, or what? Are there any items that are just huge margins?
The big one is the laser, and actually the laser and the gunsmith. Those are the biggest margins, just because we invested in the laser, but we get big returns on that, just because we're not using materials, and that laser is effective. It needs to be changed out every 70 years or something like that. So it's a really great resource to have.
I actually have a few questions. The laser, what are the core competencies? You're a very precision type business. You have a very specific set of technical skills. What other things could that be applied to that could help you scale this beyond maybe just firearms? Are there any kind of other, and I don't know the answer to this question, but you're looking at scaling up and growing. Are there any other things that you think this could be applied to expand? You take your core competency and apply it to another industry that could all of a sudden, jettison you to a whole new place.
I believe so, absolutely. 2 of them, once again, the laser. One of the positive benefits we've seen with the laser capability is we have 3 other manufacturers coming to us to get the ATF information, serial numbers and everything, because our laser meets those requirements. So we're already getting other people in the industry coming to us to get that work done for their gun lines. And also the Sarin Coating, not only applies to firearms, but it can be used in car parts. So we're starting to reach out to the automotive racing industry. We could Cerakote your headers, whatever you want. That same thing applies. So
No, that's awesome, because this actually potentially leads into my next question. So you talked about you have a real estate concern or a real estate challenge. Are any of the areas in and around Fayetteville, have they been deemed an opportunity zone yet? Are you aware of that?
no, I'm not aware of the opportunity zone.
All right, so there's a new tax law that was changed that basically is unleashing about $6 trillion of wealth to be invested from capital gains. So if I have a capital gain of $1 million, I could put the principal back in the bank, but I could take the $1 million and instead of paying 37% tax on it, I can give it to you and invest it in your project. And if I hold it for 10 years, I don't pay any taxes on any of the gains. So that's gonna unleash animal spirits like this country's never seen before.
Absolutely.
Think 1800s, okay?
Yeah.
So a firm like yours could potentially take advantage of that, not only because those areas want to be friendly to accept capital, but they also want to change zoning to make sure that businesses can then thrive in those areas and new communities can sprout up.
Absolutely.
So if there's an area even remotely close to your town, or that's going to be deemed that, or you think they're even talking about it, that's where I'd start to buy property.
Okay.
So, and I'd love to talk to you about that, because I know a guy is raising a fund just for this purpose.
Okay.
So-
Yeah, absolutely.
All
And
right.
we've been. Can you hear me like this?
Absolutely.
This is driving me up the wall. It's killing me.
Helps with the live sometimes.
Yeah, I'm not used to this. I quit stand-up 10 years ago. So, with that being said, we've been researching surrounding areas. Not aware of the opportunity zones, but yeah, that's amazing, because the key there is how can we support the big picture. So, yeah, I'd love to talk more about that. Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, good presentation.
Thank you.
What opportunities and challenges do you find with 3D printing?
So, there's a demand for it in certain areas. That's not something that we've seen applicable to us directly. There's other components that can be worked with. There is another store in Fayetteville that fabricates, and they capitalize on that 3D capability, 3D printing. But as far as opportunities, that's not something we saw as supporting our growth in the initial term. So that's something we're looking at for the long term, but at this moment, that's something we don't see that direct benefit from. So that's something we would work with other people to help prototype some of the ideas we have. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Have you thought about partnering with universities, maybe come up with a PE type program or a gun safety course?
Yes, we need to do the work to get that ball moving. Absolutely.
I asked because I come from Missouri, and there was a Navy guy who did scuba, and all of a sudden he started doing 150 guys every semester, and it turned into he was the university scuba shop.
So, yeah, that's something I'll pursue with our local college, and I think, yeah, there's absolutely, because I know in the medical field that's a big thing with North Carolina. Thank you.
Any other questions? Sound good?
Hey,
Awesome.
I have, you might just highlight the organization up here in Raleigh next to the airport, Triangle Shooting Academy, as kind of an example of what you're hoping to
Oh, absolutely.
create
So,
something like in Fayetteville.
are you guys familiar with Triangle Shooting Academy? They're here in Raleigh, in the Triangle, and they're an indoor range, and they've been open for about 3 years now.
3 years,
And,
21,000 square feet.
Yep, and they're actually looking at expanding. They're adding to what their footprint is in the building because of the demand. So that's kind of the model that we looked at initially, because we see that opportunity in Fayetteville. If you build it, they will come kind of thing, because as far back as this idea phase almost a year ago, people have said, where's your range? You need to make this happen. What's taking so long? So it's something we want to approach intelligently, but we definitely see that potential. And Triangle Shooting Academy, if you just look at their website, that's a great model because it's scalable and it's not too ambitious. So we're not, getting in front of our headlights because we're excited about this. It's an intelligent model. So we've been in direct talks with them about, again, mentorship guidance on how to approach this in the best way. Did that answer your question, or did that? Okay.
Last question we always ask is, what can we do as a 1 Million Cups community for you and your business?
The big thing I ask for is laugh at my jokes, but more importantly,
Didn't have to say joke when we laughed.
So there you go. And no, more importantly, just I think we benefit most right now from the increased awareness because being as new as we are, people still aren't quite sure of what to make of us.
Yeah.
But once people come in and get the experience, then they're sold. And that's the important thing for me. So I would just say support in any advice. I have cards up here, and please copy my information. If something pops in your head a week from now and you're like, dude, that guy was way off, stop right now. Please, I'm open, and I'd love to talk with all of you at some point just to build those relationships. And also, here's my thing. One thing I didn't want to do when opening this store was to become an island. And we support several veteran-owned companies. There's several I'd like to promote. From the Java can, a mobile coffee you could take anywhere on the planet to make a world-class cup of coffee, to other manufacturers that we sell, veteran-owned businesses. Again, we want to work with the community, and even if we're not related directly in industries, we can still support each other and do a lot of great things to, again, improve our big picture, the community. I see it at that 10,000 feet level in the long term is where we want to be, affecting things.
Awesome. Let's give Sam a round of applause. Last thing is any announcements for the week?
Morning, everybody. First of all, shout out to Sam. Great man.